Society as a whole doesn't see this. So in other words, this does not have an effect on the society as a whole. It's just, oh, cruel, well, cracking necks and, electricity just terrible. Whereas here, the execution is public. Not because Islam likes a show, but because the intent behind the application of the law is to deter others. And the most effective way is for them to see that application. And this is why in the past, you go back 100 years, 200 years, what you did find was public executions. You look at the old cowboy movies, they erected a gallows and, the whole town would gather and they would hang that criminal. It was public execution. And what you find here is that 8 million people here in the kingdom, those who are executed, their names are read out. Every Friday, usually, you can see in the Arab news, they have a little column there which says, so-and-so lost his head because he did this, or lost his hand. If you add up the total numbers that are losing their heads over the year, you will find, and the process of justice here is very swift. You don't have a whole, set of people on death row just waiting, year after year, and lawyers fighting their cases. No. If you commit murder, the evidence is clear, without a doubt, 100%, because they're not going to cut your head if there is some doubt there. If there's any doubt that you didn't actually commit this crime, then they may hold you in jail until sufficient research has been done on the case, and if not enough evidence is produced in the end, they will have to let you go. They will not execute you unless it is 100%. So what you find when you add up the total number that are losing their heads here in a year, you find that this total number is less than the total number who commit murders in New York City, which is 8 million people also, in 1 week. This is a reality. The difference is that great. And the major factor is that factor of deterrence. So, it doesn't mean that because people see executions taking place that nobody is going to execute anybody and nobody is going to murder anybody. Because you have what they call crimes of passion. A person is just driven on an instant and he commits a murder. So these will remain no matter what laws you put into effect. And such people are the ones mostly who are killed. Either people who have come under the influence of drugs, or they have committed one of these crimes of passion. These are the people who are executed, who commit the murders and are executed. And according to law here, if a person is insane, he is not executed also. However, we don't have in Islamic law what is known as temporary insanity. This principle of temporary insanity, where people can plead temporary insanity in Western systems, where you get enough psychiatrists and lawyers and so on and so together, they can show that this man lost his mind, this is why he did it. In the Islamic system, no. A person is judged insane if he was known to be insane before the crime. This is a person who you don't have any doubts about. This man belongs in a hospital. Here usually people keep such people in their homes. They don't put them in hospitals unless they become really violent or something like that. So it has to be somebody who was known insane before the crime. Because really when you look at the description of what the psychiatrists put for what a person, what is a person considered to be insane, most of us would be considered insane. Just walking around without doing anything. They say, this man is insane. He's got this neurosis and this psychosis and this and that. And, we're all virtually insane. Whereas from the Islamic point of view, as I said, you can't have any pleas of temporary insanity. If you commit a crime, you are not known to have been insane before that crime, then you are going to suffer the penalty. In the area of social practices, one, as I mentioned before, this idea that Arabs are Muslims, Muslims are Arabs, this is not true because you have Arabs who are Christians. You have Arabs who are atheists. So when crimes of terrorism take place, though these have been attributed to the Arab Muslims, the Arabs, in fact, it has nothing to do with Islam at all. Islam prohibits terrorism. Terrorism being the taking of innocent lives, people who are not involved in a conflict. You're not involved in a war for you to put a bomb on a bus or on an airplane, in a public place, train station, whatever, and just knock people out. This is prohibited in Islam. It's not allowed. The laws concerning war are very clear. What a Muslim soldier, one who's fighting a battle, what he can do, what he can't do. You cannot kill innocent people. A man who takes up a gun against you, you have the right to take up the gun against him. But to just go and kill him, you kill his wife and his children, his uncles, everybody, no. This is prohibited. So Islam does not support terrorism in any way, shape, or